I first got interested in collecting fossils when I was a little kid, maybe 6 or 7 years old. My dad used to take me to the Delaware River getting rocks for his landscaping, and I would always look around and was finding fossils. So I'm Frank Hazer, and today we're out hunting the Cretaceous streams somewhere in central New Jersey. I was always interested in dinosaurs and fossils at a very young age. So when I remember finding my first one and seeing it and actually yelling, "Fossil, I found a fossil!" You know, I do consider myself kind of an explorer, and the reason why, you know, this is the known spots that are for fossils on the East Coast, but almost all the places where I've gotten my best fossils are kind of off the grid a little bit. So in order to find them, those places, you got to get out there and explore. All right, so yeah, I'm interested to see with this little tributary what the rock is like on the other side of it. You know, if there's good sediment to sift through, if there's banks I might be able to look at. So, got to go take a look. A discovery that would make me really happy. Let's see here. Right off the bat, something I can't identify, because I'm always looking for new stuff for the New Jersey Cretaceous. But honestly, Plesiosaur, Mosasaur, any of those are still a trip maker for me. All right, there we go.
What did you get?
Nice and coated thing. Decent size on this one. Still got some enamel. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty. That'll work.
Yeah,
Very
yes it
nice.
will.
Very
Yes
nice.
it will.
Well, two for Frank, 0 for Dave. You know, I have friends who say, "Can I come dig with you?" You know, these girly girls, you know, with their painted nails. And I'm like, I don't think you realize it's not that easy. I've been digging for fossils for 7 or 8 years now, and I learned so much from these guys, Dave and Frank. They're like my mentors. I love it. It's the thrill of discovery each and every time you come out. Not only are you in nature, which is amazing in itself, but then, you know, you could be sifting and digging and find nothing but rock and rubble, and then you see something you see a treasure in your sifting pan. Oh, look at that! Look at that! That's a goblin. That's a nice one. That's a real nice one. I'm happy about that.
So this would be a decent-sized goblin shark tooth. Scapanarhynchus was the species, and this was another Cretaceous shark. The most common fossil we find from the Cretaceous would be shark teeth. As you can see, here is a bowl of them. Here are a couple of the most common that you'll see. These are Squalicorax, also known as a crow shark. And these here are goblin shark teeth. These are the two most common. So if you're in the streams in Monmouth County, there's a very good chance you're gonna see these.
So at one point, this was an ocean. And that's the thing that always intrigues me. We're standing here, nice, peaceful, serene, through the woods, a little creek. This was an ocean at one point. Giant predators, zooming around, everything looking in fear of its life. Everything was a predator. You also had invertebrates, you had shellfish and all. Yeah, the little stuff that doesn't interest me, but it's important. So you had all that. But I love to find the fossil shark teeth. And like I said, when I'm in an environment like this, I go back and I think to how it looked in originality. That Cretaceous, late Cretaceous, afternoon when all these animals are in this ocean attacking each other, animals that are no longer on this planet other than certain species of shark and fish that exist at present. But it just always amazes me, always will. Been doing it my entire life. Led a lot of field trips on it, took a lot of students out, gave a lot of lectures on it, and for me, it's fun, and I'll never let it go.
You know, I don't know what my dream discovery would be, because it hasn't been found yet. Once you find a couple new species, that's like the thrill of it, finding it and then going through the scientific process. So, you know, as per a dream discovery, something we haven't seen before.
Fossils are important for so many different reasons. They can tell us about life in the past, and so we can glean so much about how organisms lived in the past, how they evolved, what ecosystems were like, and how they changed through time. And so studying paleontology and studying ancient life in general is really important to even understanding the organisms and ecosystems we have today, and how they might change or respond to changes in climate or changes in landscape. So by studying the bones, fossil trackways, impressions of leaves from organisms that live in the past, we can really understand our natural environment and our planet so much more fully. We really do rely on avocational paleontologists to help us make these giant discoveries. We just don't have the time with doing our daily duties in the museum, of writing papers, interacting with the public. We just can't be in the field all the time. And those avocational paleontologists that are out there collecting in the afternoons or on their weekends, showing us those fossils that they find, finding new sites where fossils might be found, is a really integral part of the museum. I mean, many of the specimens that we have in our collections and many that we have on display were donated by amateur or avocational paleontologists that work with our museum. So this is the lower jaw or mandible from a fossil crocodile called Hadrosaurus. This was found in Burlington County, New Jersey, by a family that was walking in a wooded area by their house, and they actually saw these giant teeth sticking out of the ground. They called us here at the New Jersey State Museum, and we went out, found out who owned the property and got permission. And what we have here, this is the front edge of the jaw. This piece actually fits over here, and then this piece will fit over here. We have almost the whole lower jaw of a 55 million year old crocodile. So I mean, you can see the upper one here is in a very active pose. Yes. That was one of the cool things about Charles Knight's work, was that he painted the original leaping laelaps in 1897. Yeah. And back then, dinosaurs were considered to be slow-moving reptiles. So even in 1897, to have these dinosaurs in a very active pose, jumping through the air, attacking each other, was very, ahead of its time.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And these giant claws on its hands. I mean, those. Could you imagine finding one of those?
Yeah, I know. I want that. So New Jersey during the Cretaceous, a lot of it was underwater, was sea. There were terrestrial dinosaurs, say Dryptosaur, which is kind of resembling a T-Rex, and the Hadrosaur, which is the state dinosaur. But what we mostly find from the Cretaceous is marine. So you got your Mosasaurs, Plesiosaurs. You've got your ammonites. New Jersey was underwater at that point, so that's why most of our fossils are marine. In fact, a lot of the dinosaur bones we do find from Monmouth County were actually washed ashore, which is why most of them weren't in very good condition, because you got to realize they not only floated, but then you have all those predators there in the ocean, which is why most of the dinosaur fossils we have here are very fragmented. So mosasaurs were the apex predator of the New Jersey Cretaceous. They reached over 40 feet long and were the dominant species for till the end of the Cretaceous. So this is a Mosasaur, not a real one obviously, but what the Mosasaur looked like. In this display over here and over here, this is one of my favorites, and I'll tell you why. When you start fossil collecting, everyone wants to find a Mosasaur tooth. And so this is what I have now at this point. I've got the teeth and a couple bones. This quote-unquote jaw was actually put together and reconstructed by me. It's from a couple different pieces. We don't know if they're from the same individual, but they were from the same spot, so I went ahead and put it together to kind of show what it looked like. For me, when it comes to a fossil, its size doesn't really matter. It's the rarity, the scientific importance, that kind of factor, the rareness of it, if you will. Most of my fossils are from the Cretaceous. Now, I collect almost every time period, but as a whole, most of my best finds are from the Cretaceous. All right, so let me show you some of my collection. Over here, this is also Cretaceous from what's called the Mercantville Formation. What we have here is an ammonite called Plesiosaur placenta. When people think of big ammonites, they don't tend to think of New Jersey, they think of the Jurassic Coast, but we had them right here too. Yeah, so this here is what's called an Oleothyrus. It is a bivalve, or a type of seashell, that existed after the dinosaurs. So this is an Exogyra. This is one of the most common seashell fossils, if you will, from New Jersey. As you can see, they got pretty big back then. They're actually really heavy fossils, pretty cool looking, but you could find them in different places across New Jersey. These are Paleozoic corals. They were brought down here from New York and Pennsylvania by the glaciers. These here are from Monmouth County, New Jersey. They are slabs of a certain specific time period called the Winona. If you take a look, there's different bivalves in it, as well as gastropods, and even a couple vertebra fossils in it. This was a case of right spot, right time. Of course, the right time happened to be in the winter when it was about 5 degrees outside, but we couldn't just leave them there. We found them at the end of one trip and had to plan another one to go back there. Yeah, we pretty much risked hypothermia for them.
It's something good, yeah.
When I'm digging for fossils, one of the most common finds is going to be shark teeth. I do like finding them, especially when it's a nice one, but it's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something a little bit rare, whether you're talking about reptile, dinosaur, sometimes even rare fish and invertebrates. Shark teeth, are probably the most collected fossil, and people do specialize them, but it's just not my specialty and not exactly what I go into the streams for.
I've fossil hunted in other states, including Wyoming and Colorado and Utah, Nevada, New Mexico, and down south in Mississippi and Tennessee and Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio. Frank has found a lot more discoveries than I have. I mean, I have some good fossils, but they're good fossils, but they're not unique. They're not like new species like some of his finds have been. So I found some things I'm proud of, but they don't have quite the scientific importance of some of the ones that Frank has found.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, let's see.
All right, so we have some type of Cretaceous reptile bone here, and this should actually be diagnostic. We should be able to figure out what this is. So, I recognized, believe it or not, the shape. I took a look at it, picked it up, had a feeling that was going to end up being bone, and sure enough, we got a Cretaceous reptile bone.
That's a good size.
Yeah, what's your take, Jeff? This is complete.
I would say most likely dinosaur.
I would think so too. It's always nice when you come up with something good. Yeah, that's a picture of me when I was, I believe, around 6 or 7 years old, to kind of show you that I've always been interested in plesiosaurs, from a DVPS, Delaware Valley Paleontology Society newsletter. That is a Mosasaur vertebra that I found. This is also from a DVPS newsletter. I was the trip leader on the group trip and came up with this, so it was pretty much perfect timing to find it. That way I get to show, kind of show everyone. The majority of bone, fossil bone from the Cretaceous found in New Jersey is very beat up. And again, this was an ocean environment we're looking at here. So in my display cases, you'll see a bunch of bones that we can attribute to a certain species, but 90% of the bone, or even more that you find, you just can't. They're pretty cool looking fossils. I like giving them away to kids. Yeah, this is the biggest one I've ever found at this point. So another one of the most common fossils from New Jersey is a belemnite. Basically, some people call them squid pens, but basically they were part of a creature that did resemble a squid. So as per unique fossils, I've got two that I believe are very unique. The first one would be a sponge crab named Costradomia hazeri. So it was actually named after me. And that was the first real new species that I discovered.
I've been sitting here and counting all the waves, but I gotta say I lost count long ago. The mesmerizing ocean has the strangest effect on me.
So I was actually at the end of one of my fossil hunts. I was taking a walk around. When I saw it, it was right in the stream, right at the water line, and it was upside down. I actually recognized the matrix as Winona. So I went to pick it up to see if there was any imprint, because a lot of times they'll have bivalve imprints or gastropods, which are snails. Right. And I turned it over, and it wasn't what I was expecting. I was very happy. I didn't know what I had at that time, but I knew it was something good, so took the tissue paper out of my backpack and wrapped that up tight.
Well, that's really fantastic. I don't think most collectors would have even recognized what they had there. So again, thank you for recognizing and finding this very important specimen and then bringing it to us at the museum.
The other unique discovery that I have would be a lungfish tooth plate, which I just found in Monmouth County, New Jersey. There have been 2 of them found in New Jersey. And on a study that I was actually author on with Dave Parrish, the curator of the New Jersey State Museum at the time, and others. And basically, we believe that it is also a new species.
So can you tell me a little bit about this lungfish tooth plate that you found, Frank?
Yep, so on this one here, when I found it, I actually had no idea what it was. I knew I saw something very similar to that in the past. And, I wrapped it up because I did have a feeling it was something good, just no idea what. And around half the way home, on the drive home, I remembered that a friend of mine, Tony Goodney, had found the first lungfish specimen in New Jersey, which is the only one ever found. And I almost had a heart attack. And I said, no, it can't be that. And then I went home, did a little research, and immediately sent some emails to the paleontologist I knew. And sure enough, it ended up one of 2 late Cretaceous lungfish jaw sections found in New Jersey.
Yeah, isn't that the way sometimes? You know you can you know you've seen that somewhere before, but you just can't place where it is.
Exactly.
And it takes, a couple hours for you to recall where you might have seen it before.
Exactly. It was
when it
on the
clicks.
drive home. It was on the drive home that I said, oh no, it can't be.
Well, that's a wonderful specimen, and like you said, this is only the second record of a lungfish from New Jersey, and one of only a handful known from the eastern coast of the United States. So thank you so much for donating this specimen. It's a really important specimen.
This site right here is a Cretaceous site. It dates back to the age of dinosaurs, and I'm primarily looking for the animals, the fauna that lived during that time. You're going to have sharks, you're going to have fish, similar to modern ones. Then you're also going to have large reptiles that lived in that period. You're going to have plesiosaurs, you're going to have mosasaurs, even dinosaur material. You tend to look for the gravel. If you focus in on that, you see the mix right there? You're looking for a mix of gravel. Maybe this gravel might be a little clunky, but you want the gravel and you want the green sand. This is marl.
In the beginning, when I first started digging, I am sure I passed over tons of fossils. Unless you go on the websites and you do your research and know what you're looking for, you might think things are rocks, pebbles, concretions, and you toss them aside. A lot of people do, and I'm sure I did. Then as I became more educated, I was proactively looking in my sifting pan for the things that I know exist within this creek, this formation, and that's when my collection grew. Shark teeth are the easy things to eat. Everybody knows the shape of a shark tooth. So I think people come out to these creeks with the desire to find shark teeth, so they're only looking for these shapes, which are obvious. There's so much more in these creeks.
So this is a piece of an ammonite known as Plesiosaurus minor. In my collection, you'll see, the bigger, more complete ammonites. But in most streams, this is really what you find, just the little segments of them. So concretions are what you'd call almost like a fossil faker. They look like they could be bone. In this example, they look like they could be turtle shell. And this is why you have to really look at the texture of it. The difference between bone is you're going to see that porous material. You're going to see, in case of a terrestrial animal, more of a line type look, if you will, to it. But one way or the other, you're still always going to be picking these up and looking for it, and that's never going to stop. We got dinosaur bone.
Got dinosaur bone.
Yes, sir. You can tell by the overall thickness of it and texture.
Oh yeah.
No doubt there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And what do we got here?
Congratulations.
That's a good start. That's a good start. Another reason I'm here and I picked this stream today is because last week I walked a couple miles around different streams, and in this one I found a hadrosaur tooth just last week. The reason that the hadrosaur tooth is significant is because Hadrosaurus is our state dinosaur, and that's because the first dinosaur ever discovered was actually a hadrosaur from New Jersey. So it's always an exciting find when you could come up with one of them. The reason a lot of fossil hunters like to keep their spots secret is, in all honesty, it's a lot of work. We walk miles and miles, and as you can see, all weather, trying to find that spot, and here and there you get a good one, and it's just not something you want to just give up right off the bat. Yeah, so when I come up with a special find, it's kind of like an adrenaline rush, just to see this rare fossil, 70 million years old, in your sifter that no one's ever seen before. It's a great adrenaline rush, and it makes all the work, all of it worth it. I do see in the future taking my daughter out fossil hunting with me. I was always a woods person growing up, and I'm going to share my love of the woods with my daughter, and I actually can't wait. I do not see a time in the future where I stop fossil hunting.
one way or the other, I'm gonna find a way. I may not my whole life be out here in the wintertime. I may not be out here with a sifter, but I think that I could come up with ways to keep doing this throughout my entire life. That was just a comedy of errors.